And welcome back. Overcoming addiction, of course, is difficult for people of all ages, and it's not something that you want to do alone.
Yeah, this morning we want to talk about a nonprofit right here in Houston dedicated to helping high school students in recovery. We are here with Andrew Warren, the clinical director, and Clifton Gillick, the director of operations from Archway Academy, to tell us more. Thank you, gentlemen, for being here with us.
Yeah, anytime.
Okay, first, if folks at home have never heard of Archway Academy, what is Archway Academy for high school students?
So Archway is a recovery high school whose goal is to balance education with mental health. So there is an emphasis on academic rigor, but also on a sort of empathetic and caring approach to behavior management, mental health, and then also substance use disorder and other challenges that young people are experiencing.
It sounds like a lot of work. How do you guys kind of balance those two things? We're sort of imagining a school day that goes through with your classic courses and academics and then this personal attention.
Yeah, so Archway is unique in that when the students first get to school, we have what we like to call check-in, which is where Andrew and his team get to kind of sit down with the student body as a whole, and it looks differently every day, and Andrew can go more into that, but you know, education is the priority, and so we supplement that with recovery support, and students are required to seek some sort of support outside of school as well.
Now, you both are alumni from Archway Academy, and so you guys are kind of walking testament of how this can help you. Would you share your stories?
Absolutely. So when I was 17, going on 18, I was having challenges, having difficulty succeeding in school, succeeding in my social life, and my parents were afraid, uncertain, not sure what to do, and it was the principal of the public school I was attending that had actually talked to my parents a little bit about some of the services available in Houston for young people, which, by the way, there are some amazing resources in Houston for young people with substance use disorder and other co-occurring challenges. And it was around that time that my parents said, okay, well, let's look into it because we are out of options. And shortly after that, I engaged in a few different services, a residential treatment program, an outpatient program, an alternative peer group, and then Archway Academy, a recovery high school, and graduated from there in 2010.
Clifton, what made the difference with a place like Archway versus some of the other places Andrew was talking about?
Yeah, so for me, like, my story's a little bit different. We always joke that Andrew's like the example of like what you should do as a young person in recovery, like through today, where I took a much harder path. You know, after Archway, I actually didn't get sober for another 10 years. And so I'm passionate about this organization and the impact it can make, because in that 10 years, like, life got really bad. I had some really awful negative consequences. Friends died from overdoses and drunk driving accidents. And I look back, and the difference was that I had this seed planted by Archway Academy at a very young age for what recovery looked like and the services that were available. And so when things got bad enough for me, I was able to, you know, use those resources that had been given to me.
So it doesn't necessarily have to work at the time. Planting a seed's a pretty big one,
yeah,
to keep you going for 10 more years.
Yeah, absolutely. And we talk about kind of seed planting, but truly, some students attend Archway for a 6-week grading cycle or a semester while they get things in order, build a foundation, and then can return to something meaningful at their previous school. Some students start with us as freshmen and then graduate with us 4 years later. So it really just depends on what the family wants and what the family needs.
What are some of the things that the students say when you first meet them, and then maybe later on down the road after they've graduated or been there?
So some families, student included, when they come to tour, they'll put them, you know, make it look like everything's put together, and that's fine. And then some students come as they are, some families come as they are, everything's chaotic, lots of uncertainty. Either scenario is fine. Some students are like, oh my gosh, this is exciting. Like, these kids seem like they're happy, and all my friends at my last school are very unhappy. And then some are a little standoffish at first, and we kind of got to break through that.
Yeah.
And, you know.
I think the biggest difference that I've seen, and I even experienced with my own mom, is that, like, when we were going through our issues when I was a young adult and teenager, my mom always complained like everything was like business. There was always like a probation appointment we had to go to, or a meeting with our principal, and most of our students had self-reported that, like, within the first 6 weeks, that their relationship with their parents had, like, kind of become normal again, because Archway is able to take on some of those responsibilities that parents are normally taking at home, whether that's drug testing or anything like that.
That's another sort of pillar to this then, is like kind of rebuilding families or rebuilding relationships?
Absolutely. The family engagement in the recovery process is so important. When you look at substance use disorder and depression and anxiety, there's oftentimes a systematic sort of there's a system in place, and we need to work the whole system out if you really want sustainable sort of long-term recovery. So family engagement's important.
Yeah, that's huge. Okay, so really quickly, tell us about the enrollment process. Maybe how can people get more information if they're interested in more? Learn
Yeah,
more.
the easiest way to get more information is follow us on Instagram, and we post all the resources on there. Andrew can talk more about the enrollment process, but it's super quick and painless, and usually we can turn families around from 48, 72 hours of contacting us to get them enrolled, because we know how important it can be to have some stability during crisis.
Yeah.
There's the fundraising element to this as well.
Yes.
There is. So we actually have two exciting events coming up. One on Friday with Kendra Scott in Sugar Land and Highland Village, where 20% of the proceeds will benefit Archway Academy. It'll also run online throughout the weekend. And then we have our big annual golf tournament on April 11th at Herman Park with lots of awesome silent auction items and contests. And so if anyone wants to get involved, we can definitely include you in those as well.
Okay. A website or anywhere where they can find out more?
Archwayacademy.org.
All right. Thank you, Andrew and Clifton, for sharing your stories, your incredible stories.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.